Hey guys, welcome everybody. Happy to have you guys here for the second last community spotlight. This is community spotlight number 5. And today we're going to have one alumni headliner, which is Darkblock. So we had them, I think it was Open Web Foundry 3, which is quite a while back. And then we're also going to have 3 projects who are currently participating in this cohort, Open Web Foundry 7. As always, if you guys have any questions, there'll be a mingle session afterwards where you can speak with me, the founders, or just anyone else in the community that you feel like chatting with. With that being said, I'd like to introduce the first presenter, Ari, who's going to be telling us about Darkblock. And Darkblock allows you to attach additional content to your NFTs that can only be unlocked by the owner of the NFT. So it provides more utility for NFT creators. So Ari, if you could just come up to one of the mic stands and tell us a little bit more.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. So hey guys, I'm Ari Thomasson. I'm the COO of Darkblock. I'm an Open Web Foundry alum, and you can reach me at ari@darkblock.io. So let me start by telling you a little bit about our Open Web Foundry origin story. So me and Darri, who is actually here in the audience, we are from Iceland. We go way back, and we were always wanted to do some startup ourselves. We tried a bunch of different things. We wanted to do a clothing line. We wanted to do like a nicotine product, and we wanted to do like AI web builder, some kind of stuff. Nothing stuck. Nothing felt right. But a good friend of Darius is one of the original investors in Arweave, big in the community, and he told Dari, like, hey guys, you should check out the Arweave hackathon, Open Web Foundry. They're looking for entrepreneurs, and Dari was already a veteran in blockchain and crypto investing, but I knew nothing. At that time, I did run a development agency in Belgrade, Serbia, actually. So I did know about the software industry, but Tara and I looked at each other as like, okay, let's do it. And it started the next day or something, and it was a 6-week commitment. But we were like, okay, let's do it. We don't know anything, but we'll see what we find and see if we like it. And we went to a couple of these gather town things. We had no idea what was going on, but we definitely did like it. And that same guy, Dari's friend, he introduced us to Chris. And he had this crazy idea to bring actual utility to NFTs with kind of access control. So we call it unlockable content. So only the holders of the NFTs can view the content that is attached to the NFT. And I will go a little bit later into that. But yeah, so and we had a good fit, Barry, Chris, and I. Chris is a serial entrepreneur. This is his 4th startup, and he had an idea that he and his cousin had made, and that is a designer, ran a product design studio in Berlin for 7 years, and I'm the org and biz dev guy, so we thought we had good synergy. And yeah, we attended all the lectures, watched Sam go into great details, and we loved every bit of it. And in the end, we had the like kind of the basis for the idea of dark block. So basically, it was born in an Open Web Foundry like this. And who we are now, serial entrepreneurs, like I said, is a team of 12 strong, located in 8 time zones, 5 continents. From Austin to Auckland in New Zealand, and everywhere in between. Belgrade, Lisbon, Pakistan, Ireland, Colombia, Argentina. You know the drill. And it's been 15 months since Open Web Foundry 3. And but let me tell you a little bit more about dark block. So content is the ultimate utility. It is still king. Over 500 million people watch Facebook videos every day. YouTube has over 12 billion monthly active users. And the most aspired job by kids in America today is to be a YouTuber. But in Web 2 monetization, it's mostly built on ads, and over 66% of people skip the ads. So it's definitely not good for the long tail of creators. 10 years ago, Kevin Kelly, the editor of Wired, wrote an essay called 1000 True Fans, where he predicted that content creators and artists would be able to live on creating their art alone by only having 1000 true fans that would be willing to pay for their creation, for their art. And internet would be the thing that would, enable this to happen. Now, like we all know, this hasn't been the case with Web 2. But also, it hasn't been the case in Web 3 as well. Creators are looking into Web 3 as it can foster a better connection with their fans via shared ownership. But content doesn't really matter for NFTs or Web 3 because it's still mostly hype. We can fight on this, but I think Bored Apes are freaking ugly. It doesn't matter what the Bored Apes look like. It only matters what they can bring. And what do they bring? They bring airdrops, access to Discord channels, and access to parties if that's your thing. And of course, it's a social signaling that you're cool. But the content itself, the image or the content they can create from the IP, isn't reflected directly into the value of the NFT. Like if, let's say, Bored Apes or some other collection would make videos, they could make like a marketing video, or they could talk to Netflix or something like that. But that's not Web 3. It's that's just an extension of Web 2. But we want to change this, and here is our dark block protocol. Content is encrypted and stored on Arweave. The dark block protocol runs a network of nodes that issue and control the keys. Only the owner of the NFT can unlock the encrypted content and view it via crypto wallet. Now, we are now on 5 chains: Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, Polygon, Avalanche. We will be integrating SmartWeave soon, as we are partnering with Pianity, which was actually also born in the same Open Web Foundry 3, good friends of ours. And like you can see, the content comes from the creators, from patron sites, creator apps, minting sites, marketplaces, and then it can be displayed directly on there, or we have a widget that can be embedded into any website. So we want to become like fully vertically integrated to make integration with Darkblock super easy and plug and play for creators and builders to start using Darkblock from the get-go. So let me show you a little bit from the marketplaces that we have already integrated with. Here, this is on Solana, and this is the user journey. They mint an NFT. This is the preview NFT that everyone can view, and there you add the content that's exclusive to the holder. You have to prove on Phantom or your favorite Solana wallet. And yeah, there you see the little icon, includes unlockable content. This is available now. This is up and running. Solsi was one of our first partners. We're very happy to count them as our partners and friends. And if there is anyone here from Solsi in the audience, want to do a shout out. And we are also integrating with Olaplex. Olaplex is a little bit more of like a white label marketplace. Anyone can come in and create their own collection page, and we made a couple of projects on Olaplex already. A musician or band called Agnostic Front is delivering like a super rare live recording of their their concert from early 80s that will only be available to fans that buy the NFT. Now let's see how we can help NFT creators right now. You would go onto our website, darkblock.io, and any NFT that you have created, you can attach content to it through our web app. Here it goes. It's encrypted, uploaded to Arweave, and you can add as many as you like. Basically turning any NFT or NFT collection into a membership pass for content creators. Here you go. This is the comic. You see the cover of the comic is the JPEG that's available everywhere, and the unlockable content is the whole comic itself, because comics don't really work as NFTs right now without access control, because otherwise you would be able to go on the marketplace and view it and read it without buying it. So yeah, this is content stacking. Add multiple files to each NFT. You can do it all at the same time, or put in weekly or in whatever cadence as a creator that you want. And we support a bunch of file types: PDFs, MP4s, MP3s, 3D videos, like you see here, this beautiful Darkblock t-shirt. And for builders, we have a single API for upload and creation. We have NPM so that builders can set it up in their own way on their project, embed, and on the Darkblock site. So let me tell you a little bit what happened after the Open Web Foundry. So we were incredibly lucky and grateful. We got a grant from RWIF and they also wanted to take part in our pre-seed round that came a little later. We had to fine tune our product and pivot a little bit, but we were incredibly lucky to get RWIF, Greenfield One, which is a big investor in the RWIF ecospace, A&T Capital, and more. Obviously, it was a little bit easier raising back then, but I would have to say Open Web Foundry has been very good for us, and we wouldn't be here without them. And we are prepping our seed round right now. Our roadmap. So right now, everyone to be able to view unlockable content, they need to have the NFT in their wallet. But we foresee a future where the holders of the NFT can rent access to the unlockable content by having other fans pay for access. So no need of transfer of NFT. Don't need to sell it. You can keep the NFT yourself, and that basically creates a distribution channel through the creator's biggest fans. So let me take an example. Musician drops an album. The cover of the album is the JPEG. The unlockable content is the music, and superfan buys it. He's able to listen to it, but he can also post this NFT on other websites and charge access to listen to it, and basically turns NFT collection into like a good pyramid scheme. And we believe that community should always have a piece of the upside. That's how Web3 NFT content works. So we are also looking at true decentralization of the protocol. Like many other Web3 projects, we are not truly decentralized from the beginning, but we are working very hard to achieve that goal. There's a lot of boxes to check, and decentralized projects are just as centralized as their least decentralized part. You know what I mean? Like, we used to have APIs from OpenSea, and OpenSea is definitely not decentralized. And how can you call yourself a decentralized project if you rely on that? That's how we feel. And decentralization is the way to win down the line. And we are prepping for a token drop, but don't hold your breath. It's won't be there for a while, I'm guessing. That's about it. Thank you so much. You can reach me at ari@darkblock.io. You can check our Discord, chat.darkblock.io. Check our website, darkblock.io. Follow us on Twitter, and check with us if you want to partner, if you want to take part in our seed round. We would love to hear from you. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Look forward to listening to all the other cool projects that's going on, and chat later. Yeah.
Thank you, Ari. Definitely appreciate the Open Web Foundry endorsement, and it's very cool to see like how far you guys have come since the Open Web Foundry 3. I can't believe that was 15 months ago already. It also looks like you have some questions in the chat here, so you might want to look at those in the backstage and reply to some of them. But thank you so much for being here. And then next up, we will have now the projects that are currently participating in the Open Web Foundry. So Ari was a alumni, and now we have 3 projects that are in Open Web Foundry 7 right now. So we'll have now Timothy, who's going to be telling us a little bit more about Athena protocol, and they are building incentive-driven environmental monitoring solutions to empower collaborative data science and machine learning solutions. Hey, Timothy.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm for my presentation.
Perfect. Looks good.
Awesome. So, yep, thanks for the introduction. My name is Timothy. I'm an environmental data scientist and a public health policy researcher. I worked in the grassroots advocacy for 7 years until Cambridge Analytica rocked the world with a small group of people in a 250 square foot office. And I sort of realized that the work I was doing in grassroots was going to be obsolete if we didn't quickly learn how to adopt and apply the tools of machine learning and data science to causes of ethics and equity. So that's why I founded the Athena protocol, and we're working to build decentralized edge computation network capable of bridging decentralized ledgers to the real world in near real time. We're a team of researchers and engineers committed to increasing the open and equitable flow of information from peer to peer through the development of a new network architecture with equity and accessibility at the core of its design. We see a future that looks a lot like this one. A future, oh wait, maybe I'm not flipping through slides. Haha, wrong. Yes, here we go. A future that looks like this one. And a future that's full of automation, that's sustainable, that's abundant, where access to healthcare and financial services are equitable. And we know a future like this one is going to take a lot of data. Building on current network architectures, that data would be left in the hands of a few powerful individuals, and we see a glaring issue with that. Like a lot of those here, we think that decentralized ledgers and smart contracts are the solution to that problem, but there's still one glaring issue. Decentralized ledgers and smart contracts lack the ability to interact with the real world in meaningful ways. While we have decentralized Oracle solutions like Chainlink and API 3, bridging real-world observations on chain, the data providers operating on those networks are still reliant on centralized network architectures. And that's why we're building the solar pump network. The SPN is a distributed computation network capable of designed to bridge the real world to the blockchain in near real time. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a high-level overview of how it works. The core concept here is to bridge Arweave and Ocean Protocol and to pack all of that into an edge computation gateway capable of listening over low-power wide area networks and using DAT file transfer protocol. A client sends a compute job to a Hermes gateway in the field where the gateway can access all available data from any end nodes within range. The instructed computation is then run on the data on site, performing any anonymization necessary and returned to the client. DAT protocol or Hypercore will facilitate user-first applications that maintain individual data sovereignty, only sharing pre-approved information with pre-approved application through the use of temporary keys. So first, instructions are sent using Ocean Protocol to the Athena gateway, where it aggregates available data from end nodes and sends a signed verification of a claim to an Arweave ledger. Arweave is uniquely suited for this because it allows for flexible block sizes, which allow us to use a range of size and types of claims. We also see Ocean Protocol and Arweave are uniquely suited for integration in that Arweave offloads its computation and only handles data storage, whereas Ocean Protocol provides the computation or the ability to run computation for those applications which are too heavy to run on client devices. Let me see. Using Arweave, profit sharing community can publish a computer vision model and associate that profit sharing community with it to a data NFT on Ocean Protocol. That data NFT is then used to mint data access tokens, the sale and consumption of which funnel revenue back to the holders of the profit sharing tokens in the profit sharing community. Our commitment to work in the global south has led us to partner with the Paraguay National Forest Service to protect the Ibicoy National Park and collaborate for early wildfire detection, as well as to provide climate-based insurance to local farmers. And we've been announced as one of the first validators on the Open Forest Protocol system, serving to keep the underlying data assets that prove their ecosystem services. And we have a huge market to address between edge computation and environmental monitoring and the validation of ESG assets. We see that the time to act is now, especially with regenerative, in the wake of the regenerative financial industry. One of the biggest things that led us to environmental applications in this start were back in January, looking at the market with Toucan Protocol, seeing how regenerative finance needs higher quality assets to distinguish itself from legacy markets. Toucan and others are still reliant on organizations like Vera to onboard new assets. And we see that no heuristic accounting methodology can really shake a stick at near real-time environmental monitoring. Yep, that's it. That's all. Our roadmap for the next year is to recruit a core team of data scientists and engineers to help us develop and deploy the SPN to our key pilot locations in partnership with organizations like Basin DAO, Foam Network, and Open Forest Protocol. If you're interested in learning more or want to get involved, you can scan this QR code and reach out to us on any of our social media. Email is preferred. It makes my life a little simpler. That's all.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Timothy. I know what you mean. I'm in about 100 Telegram groups right now, so email is always a good option. Thank you for that overview. Some of those pilot projects you mentioned also seem very, very interesting. I think that's a really good way of like building a proof of concept for a project like this.
Thanks.
Perfect. Okay, and next up, we're going to have Todd, who's going to be presenting FMD Systems. And FMD Systems is going to be decentralizing and democratizing health data. And Todd has been in the industry for a long time, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what this project does and how it's going to disrupt what's currently going on. I think you're muted, Todd.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Everybody can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Let me share my screen here. Great. So you can see the PowerPoint at this point?
Yep. I don't think it's in presenter mode, but we can see.
It is for me. Hold on 1 second here. That's interesting. It was in. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing. I don't know what's happening, but bear with me here 1 second.
Okay. Otherwise, I don't think it's a big deal, but.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll try it one more time. If it doesn't work, then.
Okay.
All right. All right. Is that a little bit better, or is it the same thing?
It's the same thing, but I think
Okay.
Let's just roll with it.
All right, let's just roll with it and see. All right, great. So, yeah, thanks, Jesse, for the introduction. Again, I'm Todd. I've been a physician for about 12 years, and have founded FMD Systems or Free My Data Systems with somebody I've been trying to convince to work on a decentralized project for some time. His name is Sean Alfreds. He's not able to join today, but Sean runs one of the largest health data exchanges in the country, and definitely the biggest in New England, where we're based. The problem that we're really focusing on is the fact that the U.S. healthcare system super fragmented, and data is considered a commodity for generating revenue. But unfortunately, individuals, and I mean patients in this scenario, have absolutely no control over their data, who's using it, how and where they can get it. So the plan, right? Our goal is to free the data and put it back into the hands of the people who we believe truly own the data, and that will honestly be fundamentally disruptive to healthcare finance. So the regulatory hurdle and opportunity here. So HIPAA in the U.S. establishes a floor for data privacy in the U.S. And health providers, payers, and other quote unquote HIPAA covered entities, they actually own the patient health data. So patients are allowed access, but until very recently, they've been completely unable to control how their data is being used. And what makes now the right time, aside from the features that Arweave provides, which I'll get to shortly, is that the regulatory framework in the U.S. is shifting a bit, and which provides a unique opportunity to enter into this market now. So there's some new data requirements in terms of how the data has to be structured, and structured in this very consistent, standardized way across all HIPAA covered entities. All electronic health record vendors are required to provide FHIR-based API endpoints to access this patient data, as well as some other policy changes or regulatory changes with regard to how Medicaid provides access to data, et cetera. So long story short, the new regulations provide a pathway for patients to gain access to this data and actually exercise their rights over the data, but they don't actually require any of these vendors to provide ways in which the patients can actually access it, right? So they'll give you the API, but you're kind of on your own from that standpoint. So this slide is really to show primarily that the flow of data from individual patients is really unidirectional, right? Like everybody else communicates with one another, but basically the patient is generating the data, but there's actually no real communication back to the patient. So the patients have absolutely no control over how that data is being used. So U.S. federal guidelines, along with advances in on-chain storage, create unique opportunities for a new mobile health ecosystem. And I'm not going to go into the financial aspects of the mobile health market in the U.S. and even worldwide, but that market is still growing and is pretty significant. So, again, U.S. requirements for data sharing, use of APIs, and a core electronic health record data set make health data available for innovative use cases, which is exactly what we're going to be leveraging. And the other thing that really makes this viable is that once the data is in the hands of the patient, HIPAA guidelines actually no longer apply to the data. So that further enables companies interested in developing an ecosystem around how this data is going to be used. It actually frees them up a bit to be innovative. And how this is going to be enabled by Arweave. Permanent storage for data and NFT-based revenue streams is extremely important, right? So, you can't have a health record, and especially a health record that is linked to revenue, being stored in ways that could be tampered with or taken down. The ability for SmartWeave contracts to perform logic on the data stored in Arweave is also a critical feature, and the ability to deploy robust decentralized applications all provide a unique opportunity to develop an NFT-based personal health record ecosystem, and that is, obviously we're at the beginning stages of that, but that is what we are working towards feverishly at this point in time. So one of the things that we are going to be demonstrating here in the very near future, once we actually deploy in about a little over a week, we're developing a key exchange approach that allows for key cycling. And ultimately, what we're calling NFT leasing, which enables the development of a marketplace between consumers or customers to business customers. And then the business customers that we're talking about here would be insurers or payers, employers or large companies who actually purchase insurance on the marketplace, as well as mobile health companies. So, our primary focus or our primary market will be on the business customer side of it, and because they have a very they have a vested interest in investing in access to as close to real-time data as possible, because currently they don't have access to this information. So we're going to be building an NFT-based Arweave data platform, and hopefully facilitating putting power back in the patient's hands with regards to control of their data. So we're focusing on access control, a bit different than what Darkblock is doing, though. We've actually been in conversations with Darkblock and do think that there is a use case there, and we'll continue those conversations. But we're doing it a bit differently with a key exchange protocol. But the reason why leasing a health data set will work is because as a health data set will grow over time, right? The atomic NFT data set will grow over time. But really, what has the highest value is the most recent piece of data, and even more than that is the promise of future data. So we actually care less about access to the older data, and really it's about providing access to data that doesn't yet exist, is really where the value in this comes in. So basically, there will be a pretty robust off-chain system that will be have a graph database at its core for ingesting this data that is coming from the various HIPAA-covered entities. That data will then be scrubbed of any identifying information and pseudonymized, and then ultimately it will be sent to a decentralized application that's served on the permaweb. There'll be a atomic NFT SmartWeave contract that allows the data set to grow over time, and we'll be using Accord's Vault protocol as well as some of their encryption APIs to manage the key rotation and storage. And then ultimately, it's going to be archived and queryable from Arweave. So just real quick, again, data is anonymized and pseudonymized prior to being sent to Arweave. This is just again a general, just going to give a little bit of an overview of the flow here, right? So there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the background, right, in the off-chain data processing. But the important thing here is that identifying information is scrubbed. The transactions are built in terms of the health data and the metadata, and then it's encrypted with symmetric key encryption with what we're calling the seed key, which is generated by our system, and then that encrypted data is then sent to the user's wallet to complete the transaction. When the user creates an account, a few things happen, right? So they will automatically receive, they'll have an Arweave wallet that's generated. A seed key will be generated by the off-chain system, and then their wallet will be associated with a pseudonym as well. And at the same time, they'll automatically be a SmartWeave contract that is deployed for each new user that comes onto the system. The seed keys are sent to the user's wallet, and they live on the they live in the user's app, not wallet. I'm sorry, but they live in the user's app, and they can only be used for decrypting the symmetric decryption of data that we send to them. And then there will also be a ledger that is stored locally within the app of what we're calling branch keys. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit, but that has to do with the key rotation and leasing structure. And there'll be an opt-in feature for users of the app if they want us to save that. It won't be required. We're also looking into the possibility of having the addition of a hardware solution that might also give users another way to back up their ledger of keys. So just real quick, right? Beginning a lease. Again, the client web app is going to be hosted on chain. And essentially, the NFT owner app allows users to create leases, ins, and views leases, and that they're able to view the NFT data as well. It receives the process data that's encrypted with the seed key, and the seed key is completely hidden. It's only used for the purposes of decrypting the initial data prior to being processed by Accord's API, where it's then encrypted with the branch key and sent on chain. They can choose what NFTs to share, who to share with, and they can define the time frame. The time frame at this point in time is going to be managed by the on-chain system, but hopefully we'll be able to move that. We'd love to have that smart contract based as well. But at least for now, that's going to be managed in the off-chain system. And then there's the account recovery process that I talked a little bit about already. Just a couple more slides here. So ending a lease, which I think is really the most important thing to share here, right, is that when once a lease is created and there's an NFT viewer that has access rights to that, so they have a branch key that enables them to decrypt that data. When that lease is expiring, the client will receive a notification about that. They can either extend it or end the lease. If they end the lease, then what will happen is that when new data is available, they get that new batch of data in. At that point in time, a new branch key will be generated and the keys will be cycled. And at that point in time, it cuts off the expired branch. It cuts off any viewing of the NFT data with regards to future access. Obviously, they still have access to past data, but we believe that is actually more in line with the real world, right? Because insurers, for example, are going to be taking that data, they're going to be analyzing it, processing it, incorporating it into their various algorithms. And if patients give consent to do that by giving View access to it, then we believe that really where the value is cutting off access to future data. So that's how we're going to manage that. And then, obviously the ledger of branch keys is updated as needed. And then when there is ultimately a new NFT viewer that's involved, then a new lease would be created, and then they have access to the growing data set as well as all of the past data as well. So you could see, like, over time how that ledger of keys will grow, because you have all the expired ones that give access to past data, and then you have each new branch, which is representative of each new viewer or new lease. And then finally, there'll be a viewing app as well. And this app, at least for demoing purposes, will actually have a user interface, but it will more than likely be something that functions within Node.js, or that there's like a phantom browser type setup, because this will be sort of connected into the various business customers applications, and so there'll be some level of custom design that will have to happen with each new business client. But in general, this is where the GraphQL queries are constructed. It stores a ledger of branch keys that they have rights to, gives them the ability to visualize the data, and decrypts the data if there's a key match. And one thing I didn't mention before, it's we'll be using Accord's Vault protocol, and one of the main reasons for that is the ability to support not only the key cycling, but also zero knowledge proofs, and ultimately homomorphic encryption for doing on-chain analysis, which is still very much in its nascent stage, but we expect the ability to do on-chain analysis with both of those different types of encryption to grow over time, and that's an important feature as we continue to build out this type of decentralized mobile health ecosystem. So I'll stop there, and happy to take any questions later on in the mingle session. So thanks for having me, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Todd. Yeah, you're certainly tackling a pretty important issue, and I think that yourself and Sean are uniquely positioned as founders to be able to have the right insights to get it right. So really happy that you guys are building this.
Thank you. All right, thanks, Jesse.
Perfect. Okay, guys, and we got one more presenter left. So we have Unite DAO, and that's going to be presented by Alex, and Unite DAO is a set of smart contracts on Arweave that are used to register and store standards that are based on Web3. So Alex, if you could just come up to one of the mic stands here. Perfect.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Alex. Hey.
How are you guys? Thank you for coming. Long story short, I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna share my screen right now. I'm gonna talk about something that's really fun to do. It's one of the most interesting things in the world. That's standards. And yes, I'm joking. Nobody cares about the standards, and I'm gonna share my experience with you guys about what happened to me when it comes when it comes to standards. And basically, I discovered that we need the standards a lot. So we need to have a common language for all of the things that most of the builders and coders we are doing. But the thing is that these standards are controlled usually by corporates, by big associations, but by a lot of people, by standardization bodies, by people that they don't care about us. So, and this is my experience. In fact, I started an association a few years ago and it was quite successful with a lot of companies joining this association. And the whole idea was to build a blockchain for SSI, for self-sovereign identity. So my goal during the years that I was in the association that I started, by the way, was to have a standard for digital identity, for a decentralized digital identity. And guess what? I didn't do it. So after 3 years, I could not even agree on if like a human has a name or first name or last name or whatever, on how to call the fields that we needed to basically start working on that. And what I found out was that basically the standards were not really open source. They were not really public goods. So basically, you go to a place where there's a meeting. I had to do that. I went to European Commission many times there to discuss about standards. But when I was there, like they told me what they were thinking about, and it was always like a fight for the control of the standard. So everybody was really concerned about who was writing the standard, but nobody cared about the standard. And let me just like, for me, and standard, it's like a common language for anything. And right now, I think it makes a lot of sense, because if you think about something as simple as NFTs, like everybody has NFTs, and the gaming industry is going big on blockchain. So imagine that basically we have a game, and then we have a card on the game, and that card it's also an NFT. The only way that I have to move that card from that game to another game, or maybe to another blockchain, if the metadata of that NFT it's written in the same language, so it's following the same standard. But once again, like if we are waiting for people to get the standards, they will build up an association. They will start doing a lot of meetings, and basically, in my experience, like it never works. So there are too many ways, two different ways of creating standards. One is like if you are dominant in the market, like for example, OpenSea, they're putting their own standard for the NFT metadata, even if it's not a good solution. Or maybe we work in a different way. So like it's quite simple. Like imagine that a lot of builders, people that they're building, and if some of you are coders, you will get me. You will feel what I'm saying. It's like most of the builders, most of the coders, we're really lazy people. So we don't want to start everything from scratch. So the first thing we do is like we look for, we go to GitHub, we go to Stackflow, we go everywhere to get that information. So imagine that we could have like a Wikipedia, a repository where all of the different standards for anything, for any kind of data, it's stored there. As you can imagine, like Arweave for me, it's a perfect place for that. But then not just that. Imagine that basically this is standard, and it's a smart wave, it's a smart contract on Arweave. It's really a DAO itself. So it offers a way for people to collaborate and to cooperate, to create and evolve this standard. So that's what I've been working on, like with Art. Is also here with us. So I've been working on this idea on using Arweave and the smart contracts in Arweave to basically define standards in a really quick way, and by builders, not by experts, and then use them. So basically, I can have the standards. So I have an editor and coordinators in the standards, and then I have information on the standards. I have proposals and then releases, so it can evolve quickly. Okay. Then whenever I have this standard, for example, for a human, and then I want to store like a JSON file with that information for that human, I will give you examples later. I can also create another smart contract where basically I can set up that information that follows the standard, and I can update that. I can play with that. And finally, we have a registry. So a place where basically we keep all of the different standards that they are approved. It's like the DAO itself, but it has a PST token. And then you have a simple name service where basically I can just like put there and ask for something. So here you have an example. Like I want to work on this idea of the standard that's SW for SmartWave, and with the name like Benkei and /avatar. So I want to get the field Benkei avatar from the data Benkei that follows the human standard. Okay, so these are the three kind of SmartWave contracts that we're working on. The standards, it has information proposals on releases. So you get proposals, and then the editor and the coordinators of that standard, they can approve proposals and then eat the votes. I will do a demo, by the way, of this. And then a lot of people, they can put their own data there, only public data, by the way. But maybe we can collaborate with more of the people here to even create private data and hide that data. Anyway, so I can put different kind of data, like a collection. Imagine that basically you have an NFT, and you will see that name StarPets. I'm working also with people at Starnet to build to create avatars for gaming in top of Starnet. So imagine that basically instead of having whenever I ask for the metadata of that NFT, instead of like going directly as a JSON to Arweave or from IPFS, I have some kind of dynamic way of working with the metadata of the different NFTs. So I can ask for that. Okay. And this is what we do. We have the name service. You can see here an example. It's like John Smith. John Smith.city. I can ask for a collection. I can add items to collections. I can work with names and subnames. So I can have, like, imagine that I have an organization that's called UniteDAO, but then I can create a subname that's UniteDAO members. That is an array of humans, for example. And then I can ask like UniteDAO members that 50 as NFT, and then I get that one. Okay. And this is what it creates. At the beginning, when I started working on this, I was using JSON schema for the definition of the standards. I do believe that it should be quite simple, and JSON schema was simple enough. But after working for a while, even JSON schema was not enough for the needs that I have, and it was complex, but at the same time, it was not useful enough. So basically, I like a lot of people working with GraphQL. I started working on the same definitions, schema definitions like GraphQL is using, and as Arweave at the same time is using GraphQL. I think it makes the perfect match. So basically, this is what I do. I create these definitions with the type, organization, NFT, anything. So it's, by the way, it's open. It's not. I started working with this idea of NFTs, metadata for NFTs, but then I'm also working with people that they want to add organizations, and then we can do a lot of things here, not just that. Like when I was speaking about the standards, I'm working with a few security companies, and all of them, they agree that they need also standard for how a security audit is done. So if you have this security audit is done, it's really easy to verify that a smart contract has a security audit. Okay. Demo time. So what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna share my screen right now. Here we go. Great. So this is what it looks like. It's just a prototype. It's an MVP. It's working by the way, but it's quite simple. And this is like I can select, like I have like these 4 different standards right now. But as I say, like we can have as many as possible. Probably we need to even create some kind of search engine for that, in a way that basically we will have this Wikipedia of standards that I want to have. But then I can really work on human, organization, NFT, maybe a collection. Like you have this typical NFT. And basically, I can go to this standard and see who are the contributors. Right now, I'm the editor, but I'm going to connect another wallet like this, okay? And I can add myself as a user to this standard. Only the editor can then, I'm going to connect back. Okay. Can then say, okay, this guy, I know him, he's a contributor. So all of this time, I'm as you can imagine, I'm working on a local testnet. That's why everything is so fast, by the way. But everything is already connected to Arweave, and we are working with Redstone Finance libraries, which, by the way, they are really amazing. And then basically, I have this schema that basically I have the name, description, image, and then maybe it would be great. And then anybody can go here, put themselves as a user, and it's like, okay, new proposal. I think we need a level for avatars. So I propose the level, and the description is level of the NFT, and it's like it's a number. This one is busy. Here I could like even create NFT and say that it's an array of NFTs, or I can create more linked information, or I can say that it's required. Also, one of the things that it's not yet on the UX, but it's working. It's I can set up immutable data and mutable data. So I can have a JSON file as metadata for an NFT, mixing mutable data and immutable data. So I can say that this is the image that's not, it's an artwork and it's never going to change. And these are the level, for example, for this NFT that yes can change. Okay. In this case, I'm going to put like number here. I'm going to add it. Great. I have this proposal, and all of the proposals will be here. So as a DAO, and by the way, I will talk about the tokenomics later because I need help with that. But as a DAO, like we want to create an economy where all of the people, they collaborate to create and improve these standards. But then I just go see the proposal. Okay, we need level for avatars. And as you can see right now, I'm the editor, so I can do approve. Automatically, if I go to releases, I have a new release that's release number 1, and the level is also here, so it's already working. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. See my screen again. Okay. So the thing is that basically, I coded these smart weaves, and also I coded an SDK that people can use and can play with. And for anybody wanting to collaborate, I'm happy. Like, just contact me. I can give them access to the repo, and that's everything. It's like fully tested, so you can see all of the tests that they help a lot to understand everything. But it's quite easy. You create an object of type unite, like unite unit, and then you can deploy in a schema. Here I have like different schemas that they are predefined, but anyway, and then I can write. I want to write like into my wallet with my wallet. I want to add the crypto key as a human. All of the data and every name goes with a standard, so I can know that name what it is. Okay, and then it's like, okay, that's name, that's URL. This is the different information that's in the standard of human. Okay, and then later maybe I can change information if that information it's mutable. It's not immutable. So imagine that I want to change the URL. In this case, I have this URL of mine. I want to change it. I made a mistake maybe or whatever. But then reading from that is quite simple. It's like I want to read, unite read, and I get the actual data, and also I can see the standard that I can use to even use for forms, for anything. I have the full definition of that data coming also with that data. I think that's probably one of the most crazy things. And this project, I think it's open for everyone. Every time that I speak about this to different people, they come to me with a completely different approach or a completely different standard that I never even think of. So feel free to contact me if you have any idea of that. Because also, as I say, like I will go there about the economics, but there's an incentive to build the standards and evolve them. What else? Like another example, I can create, and this is an RC71. I have as I say, like I'm working with these star pets. Who are really beautiful. I think I can show you one of these star pets. Just hold on, because I think it's fun at least to see things going on. But yeah, I'm gonna put it. This is mine. I'm gonna just put it here. This is one of the star pets. That this is the first one. It's my dog. We sent a different pets from people that they send us the pets, and we just create a pixel version of the pet of the different dogs. So as you can see, we have like a few different designs that they are really funny. Even like, I don't know, we have, I love this one, by the way. It's not really a dog, but even we're doing some cats. Anyway, that's not very important. The thing is that I can, what I have right now is that the smart contract living on Starknet, whenever you ask for the token AI for the metadata, you want to read the metadata of one particular token, you will receive like a smart wave // starpets token swag. So it's quite simple. And just with that, I have like all of the information I need, and then I can work with information, and even I can evolve it. If there's a new field, I can just go and add that new field to my NFT, so I can play with that. As you can imagine, it has a lot of applications for games right now. And I was working on this right now. It's almost there, but I'm working on adding inheritance. So instead of having an NFT with level, I can create a new standard that's avatar that inherits from NFT. So I can create more complex designs for standards. We're working with the governance. What happens when we have problems? By the way, one of the projects that we've been talking with a lot, and they're really good friends of us, it's Kleros. So I'm looking for a way to integrate what they're doing at Kleros in here. So we want to add strong time verification, and probably one of the most important things here, it's like this one. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in the blockchain industry for more than 10 years now. I understand code. I like coding. That's what I do for a living. But really, I'm not that good when it gets to design tokenomics. And for some projects, I've spent so many time designing a full tokenomics on the project that basically the project will never finally see the light, because I was too focused on like looking for this design of the economy that I needed. The full idea that that I'm working on right now is that every time that anybody wants to register a new name with a standard, like I have this collection, I want to add a small fee. As I say, like the registry contract is fee, a small fee in the token. It should be really small, but in a way that all of these fees, they're distributed between the protocol itself, so we can self-fund ourselves and hire people and grow. But also part of this goes to the creators and the contributors to that particular standard. So there's an incentive for people building to have the best standard available. Even like 2 standards for the same information could compete. Why not? Okay. And that's it. I will be around here, happy to answer any question that you have. And thanks a lot for your time. And thanks a lot, Jesse, for inviting me.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. So that was our final presenter. Thank you, Alex. So if you guys have any questions or want the contact details of any of the presenters, we're going to go head down into the mingle session now. So we'll see you guys down there. See ya.